After a high-stakes premiere that promised reckoning and redemption, NCIS Season 23 doubles down with Episode 2, Prodigal Son, an hour that begins like a homecoming and ends like the opening move in a far more dangerous game. If the first episode set the emotional tone for the season, this one shatters expectations by closing one chapter, only to crack open a mystery no one saw coming. At its heart, Prodigal Son is about return to family, return to trust, return to unfinished business. But in classic NCIS fashion, nothing comes back the same way it left. The case that felt personal. The episode opens with a seemingly straightforward investigation. A Navy intelligence officer found dead under suspicious circumstances, his background riddled with sealed records and questionable transfers. On paper, it's another puzzle for the team to untangle, but almost immediately, it becomes clear this isn't just another case file. The deceased officer had ties to someone long absent from the NCIS orbit, a figure whose name carries emotional weight. The team's reaction to that connection is subtle but telling. There's tension in the bullpen. There are pauses in conversation that say more than dialogue ever could. The writers cleverly position the case as both a procedural challenge and an emotional reckoning. Evidence surfaces slowly, financial irregularities, coded communications, a hidden alias. But the true hook isn't the forensic trail. It's the moral question underneath. Can someone who walked away ever truly come back? Tours steps into the spotlight. Prodigal Son quietly becomes a Tours episode, though it never announces itself as one. Wilmer Valderrama delivers one of his most restrained performances in recent memory, portraying a man who knows what it means to feel displaced. Tours' empathy toward the prodigal figure isn't blind loyalty, it's understanding. He recognizes the weight of abandonment and the fear of judgment. That emotional parallel deepens the investigation, giving scenes in interrogation rooms and crime labs a personal undercurrent. There's a particularly powerful moment midway through the episode. Tours stands alone in the evidence room, studying a photo from the victim's past. It's a silent scene, but it resonates. He isn't just solving a case, he's confronting the idea that redemption can come too late. Knight and Parker, a steadying force. While Tours carries the emotional core, the leadership dynamic between Special Agent in charge Alden Parker and Agent Jessica Knight continues to evolve in compelling ways. Parker, more seasoned and instinct-driven, approaches the case with measured skepticism. He's seen enough returning sons to know that motives are rarely pure. Knight, on the other hand, leans into psychological nuance. She challenges assumptions, pushing the team to consider whether the officer's secret life was an act of betrayal or protection. Their quiet debates add texture to the episode. There's no shouting, no dramatic showdowns. Instead, there's intellectual friction that feels grounded and authentic. It's refreshing to see NCIS lean into character intelligence rather than spectacle. A resolution that isn't won. By the final act, the team believes they've pieced it together. The officer wasn't just hiding a past, he was embedded in a covert operation that went sideways. The financial irregularities were cover payments. The alias was protection. The suspicious communications, attempts to warn someone. The apparent killer is identified and apprehended in a tense but controlled takedown sequence. On the surface, the case wraps cleanly. But NCIS has never been content with clean endings. In the episode's final minutes, as paperwork is filed and the bullpen begins to settle, a single detail refuses to align. A timestamp, a call that couldn't have been made, a witness account that contradicts physical evidence. It's Knight who notices it, a fleeting expression crossing her face as realization dawns. The camera lingers, not on action, but on uncertainty. The supposed killer may have been involved, but not alone. The unexpected mystery. The closing scene delivers the episode's most chilling twist. A secure file linked to the case is accessed remotely, after the suspect is already in custody. Somewhere, someone else is watching, manipulating, waiting. The screen cuts to black before we see who. It's not an explosive cliffhanger in the traditional sense. There are no gunshots or last-minute rescues. Instead, it's something more unsettling, the awareness that the story isn't over. Prodigal Son ends not with closure, but with a question mark. Themes of trust and consequence. What makes this episode resonate isn't just the surprise, it's the thematic groundwork laid throughout the hour. Every conversation about second chances now carries additional weight. Every defense of the prodigal feels tinged with irony. The episode asks a deceptively simple question. If someone returns claiming to have changed, who bears responsibility if they have? The team wanted to believe the officers' secrets were noble. They wanted a redemptive arc. Instead, they're left confronting the possibility that they were manipulated. That emotional pivot from empathy to suspicion is handled with impressive subtlety. No one dramatically declares betrayal. Instead, there's a quiet recalibration of trust. Character dynamics moving forward. If this episode signals anything about Season 23, it's that the writers are playing a longer game. The unexpected mystery introduced in the final minutes feels like a thread that could unravel far beyond this case. Parker's instincts are validated. He knew something was off. Knight's perceptiveness becomes crucial. Tor's, caught between empathy and logic, may struggle with guilt over how deeply he connected to the case. Even the supporting characters contribute to the sense of unease. Small glances exchanged, conversations that trail off before conclusions are reached. The bullpen feels just a bit less certain than it did at the beginning of the hour. That tonal shift is subtle but effective. NCIS has often balanced episodic storytelling with broader arcs, but Prodigal Son feels like a conscious move towards serialized intrigue. Strengths and minor stumbles. The episode's greatest strength lies in its restraint. Rather than relying on high-octane action, it invests in character and moral ambiguity. The twist works because it's earned, not because it's shocking for shock's sake. However, the packing in the middle act slows slightly as exposition builds. Some viewers may wish for a more immediate payoff, but in retrospect, that deliberate pace serves the final reveal well. It's a trade-off, less adrenaline, more atmosphere. Final verdict. Prodigal Son is an episode that understands the power of an unresolved note. It concludes its central investigation, while simultaneously destabilizing everything the team thought they knew. By blending personal stakes with procedural precision, NCIS proves in Season 23 that it still has the ability to surprise, even after decades on the air.